go. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it if you choose it. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it right now. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it if you choose it. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it right now. And the power of now is calling me, and the power of now makes me all I can be, and the power of now is listening and beckoning me. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it if you choose it. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it right now. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it if you choose it. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it right now. And the power of I am is calling me, and the power of I am makes me all I can be, and the power of I am is listening and beckoning me. And beckoning me. And beckoning me.
Thank you so much, Linda and Dallas, and hello everyone. My name is Kayla Kunimoto. I am your MC and host here at Unity of Tacoma, and this is Gabby. She's going to help me out and be like moral support. I just want to say thank you for joining our online session. I have the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker, Asha Burson-Johnson, whose talk title today is Working with What Is. And our musical guest is Dallas Talley and Linda Small, who has been a staple musical couple here at Unity of Tacoma. So Asha, could you start us off with this morning's prayer?
I'd be delighted. So this beautiful opening song, The Power of Now is calling me. The power of now is beckoning me. What great words to start our day, to remember to take the breath that brings us into the present moment. For this beautiful present now is all we truly have. So we breathe into the now. We let go of everything that has come before, for it has already been happened, it has already occurred, and there's nothing we can do about it now. We let go of the future. It is filled with possibilities, infinite possibilities, and there's nothing to do about that right now. In this moment, in this precious moment of now, our only job is to sink into the powerful presence, to the amazing connection that we all can share through technology, through the consciousness of life, through each and every person that enables this amazing gathering to happen, and through the amazing power of Unity of Tacoma that is a light in the world and that I am so grateful to be a part of. I know that this has already unfolded perfectly in the mind of the one, and there's nothing to do but rest, relax, enjoy, and connect with each other through time and space, as there is no time and space in God. I let all of this go, trusting in the process implicitly, and so it is.
Our next song is I'm Choosing Heaven, and you can sing right along with us because the tune is very easy, and we're going to be choosing heaven, thankful, love, wholeness, and then back to heaven again.
I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So I'm grateful to be here again with you all. My name is Reverend Asha Burson-Johnson. My preferred pronouns are she, her, and it is truly my joy to be here right now in this moment. My talk title today of Working with What Is, space, yes, and, which I'll talk a little bit more about later, is a spiritual practice that I do every single moment of every single day. I've noticed in my life the times where I've tried to fight what is actually happening, what I'm actually feeling, what is actually going on in the moment, that when I fight that, then my life gets stuck and is mired in resentment and frustration, anger, sadness, all those feelings that are what Ernest Holmes in our philosophy of science of mind would call non-preferred. I think Unity probably has a similar phrase. We say instead of good or bad experiences, we have preferred and non-preferred experiences. And so, and yet, what is. And so for me, the fight against it or the struggle against it, as they used to say in Star Trek, that resistance is futile. with the Borg coming in, resistance is futile. Well, with what is happening, resistance is futile. And so if I can't resist it, and if I can't fight it, and if I can't change it, then what do we do? How do we move forward in our life? And we're definitely getting so many interesting and creative opportunities these days to work with what is, to work with what is happening in the world, what is happening in our own communities, what is happening within ourselves. I love the synchronicities of spirit, and I live on a property with my husband and my mom and my bonus dad. We don't like to say stepdad or stepdaughter. We say bonus. So we live on a property with them, and also a sort of an adopted uncle, and now two friends who've moved from California up here to be with us, and eventually will move out and find their own place. But for now, they're here with us. And so every morning I walk to the mailbox, which is about a quarter of the mile down the road. And it gives me a great opportunity to stretch my legs. I have a dog that needs walking. And then I drop off the mail and the paper on my mom's house on the way back because she's across the driveway from me. And I mentioned my talk title this morning, and she reminded me of a word that we both discovered for the first time in a book that we were doing a book study last fall, January, February, and March. Our whole community, through our interfaith community in Clallam County, we put out a book study every year. And so last year we were studying a book called Active Hope, How to Get Through the Mess We're In Without Going Crazy. And little did we know how prescient that book was going to be, because right at the end of our book study was when everything shut down. But in the book, there was this great word that came up, and I'm going to say it and then I'm going to spell it. It's Aruga Mama. Aruga Mama. Let's say that together. Aruga Mama. It's a great word. My mom sings it. Aruga Mama, Aruga Mama. It's spelled A-R-U-G-A-M-A-M-A. Aruga Mama. Aruga Mama. It's a Japanese word. And the meaning of Aruga Mama is accepting things as they are. The acceptance of one's feelings as they are, non-judgmentally. So she'll sing Aruga Mama, accepting things as they are. Aruga Mama, accepting things as they are. As a little reminder, songs we find help us remember things. So do acronyms. We do a lot of acronyms in our family. So this idea of Aruga Mama, accepting things just as they are, it feels really passive when we first speak about it. Well, then what? You know, just accept it and move on. It feels kind of like a passive act. The more I practice this idea, of allowing things to be as they are, both events, circumstances, and my own feelings, the more I recognize that actually that requires a deep engagement and an action on my part. It requires choice. It requires a choice in the direction of love and happiness and peace, and away from fear and awfulizing and catastrophizing. Which, for the dramatic part of my brain, I've been a drama person since I was born, but officially in theater and drama since I was 11. And I've got a very active, dramatic part of my brain that likes to express and it likes to create. And it can create beautiful things and it can create horrible, awful, dark things. I used to read a lot of awful, dark books because that part of my brain got fed that way. I used to watch a lot of dark shows on television because that fed that part of my brain. And that part still needs to get fed. And sometimes it likes to get fed with imagination and creating terrible possibilities for what might happen in my life. And I can remember Aruga Mama. And I can make a choice away from the awfulizing and in the direction of something else. 2 Fridays ago, so not this last Friday, but the Friday before, when in our country we did not yet have an official decision. I know some people would say we still don't have an official decision about who our president is, but at that point last Friday, we were still in the unknown. And I noticed when I went to bed that I woke up at some point in the middle of the night and I started to have a panic attack. I don't get panic attacks practically ever, but every now and again something will happen and I'll get freaked out. Usually I freak myself out. I noticed myself starting to go down an awfulizing road. If the preferred person that I have in my head is not the president, what's going to happen in the world, in my life, blah, 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 blah. You know, the whole spinning out started to happen. I could feel myself choosing to go in that direction. And then all of a sudden, I had this moment of pause. And I felt like I popped out of my own body and watched myself literally at a crossroads, standing between 2 points of choice. Down that road was a dark forest full of the scariest, most awful things that my creative imagination could come up with. And down the other road was the unknown possibilities. And I watched myself standing at that space, at the choice to go into my freak out, my panic. And I said, no, we're not going to go down that road this time. We're going to do something else. There's nothing you can do about what's going to be decided, what the decision is going to be. And I also felt this firm sense of strength, and something deep within me rose up to say, I am no longer giving over my peace to any outside person or circumstance. I notice how easily it is in our lives, my life, and I'm going to presume that it happens for others, that the slightest thing happens and we give over our peace. We give over our place of spaciousness and connection with each other. We give over our power. And for me, I said, no, I refuse to let any person, any president, any circumstance give over my peace anymore. And something settled in me at that moment that felt different from how it's been before. And that's a choice that I also know I don't get to just make that one time in the middle of the night. That's a choice I'm going to have to make over and over and over again. And the more I decide to make that choice, the stronger the muscle gets, the stronger the responsibility gets. I love that way of taking responsibility and taking it apart. Responsibility, my ability to respond instead of react, gets stronger with every time I make a choice. Nope, not this time. I'm not giving my power over this time. So Aruga Mama gives us this spaciousness to accept what's happening. And then I tag on to that the improvisational tool that I learned a long time ago called Yes and. Yes and is a game that is played in improvisation groups, and it's also a philosophy that is deeply held within improvisation and also life. As I started to discover improvisation rules, I started to realize they were also philosophical, spiritual rules. In improvisation, there are no mistakes. Whatever's happening is perfect. You work with what you're given. You say yes to whatever you're given, and then you add the word and. And your job, this is why I say that it's not passive but active. Your job as an improviser is to add something valuable, some more information, another piece, another point of view to whatever is happening. So if we start a scene and somebody says, "Oh, isn't it awful that blah, 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 blah," you can say, "Yes, that is awful. And I'm choosing to look at it this way. Yes, and what else could it be? Yes, and how else might I look at this from a different point of view?" Yes, and gives us space and opens to the infinite possibilities of life instead of shutting down and only being able to see this narrow point of view of what we've known before or what we think might be in the future. I'm a spiritual director of a spiritual center on our property called Center for Spiritual Living Port Angeles. We're part of Centers for Spiritual Living, which as Unity sisters, we know each other very well. And lately, in the last several years, I've had a number of congregants, people that come to our center on a regular basis, who have been stuck in certain situations. I live in this place and I don't want to live in this place anymore, but I don't have any idea how that can be different. And it seems lately, specifically about living spaces, there's been a lot of attention and shift in a lot of members of my congregation. And almost every person had big apparent limitations on the possibilities of where they might live. Financial limitations, some physical limitations. And my response was always, I hear that, and you only need one place to live, and you have no idea how that's going to come forth. So make sure you tell everybody that you encounter, I'm looking for a new place to live, and here's my desire. Now, your desire may make no sense whatsoever. It may seem impossible or ridiculous, but tell everybody anyway. This is my dream. I want to live in this kind of place for this much money, and I want it to feel like this when I walk in my front door or when I drive up to my house or my living place. And each person, as they stepped into that idea that there is a limitless possibility for their living the best life they can live in this moment, each person now has a story of how they found their impossible living space, how they put forth what they wanted just to everyone they met, and then a friend of a friend of a friend happened to know of this place or heard about it, or somebody read a tiny little ad in the local paper, someone who never reads the paper but just happened to pick one up that day and happened to see a little blurb about the perfect living place. And each one of those people that I'm speaking about now is living in a place they could have never imagined, except they did. They put it into the one mind. And then they said, I'm not in charge of how this happens. I just know it's coming. I have in my life story after story after story. It's how we ended up in Port Angeles. Because for 15 years, I had a crazy vision and a dream of where we might live and what it might look like and what it might feel like. I didn't know it was Port Angeles, Washington, until we came through on a vacation and the air felt familiar on my skin and something about the place felt like home. So whether it's a relationship or a job or a living space or improved health, whatever the current circumstance is, we can say yes to that. This is how it is right now. And what do I want? What do I choose? And what do I want to put my focus on for how I prefer to live my life? For the kind of relationships that I want to have? For the way I want to feel when I walk into my home or my job or encounter my roommate or my beloved or whoever it is? Yes, and gives us breath. And it reminds us to step into the power of now, as they sang so beautifully at the beginning, the power of this moment, which is all we have. I think I spoke last month, and I know I've been speaking since then about, we're all fighting uncertainty right now. A lot of people are struggling and challenged with, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know how I'm going to move forward tomorrow. And what I remind myself is, we've never had certainty, ever. I live with my mom and my 91-year-old stepdad. Nothing is guaranteed. So every time I say goodnight to them, I make sure I tell them I love them, because one or the other might not be here tomorrow. Or maybe me. I might get hit by a bus. I don't know. So how do we choose to be? And how do we choose to take each moment as if it's a brand new moment? I do some caregiving for my stepdad. I have 2 other people that help us out. They do most mornings, and then 4 nights a week I help to put him to bed. He just needs a little extra help. And it takes the pressure off my mom. She has some time and space where she can step away from her constant attention and deep love that she gives my stepdad. And every time I put my stepdad to bed, it's the same. It's exactly the same. Literally, we say almost the same words to each other every single time I put my stepdad to sleep. We go through a little process, teeth brushing and, all the creams and lotions and all the things that he does before bed. And we have it's like a script. We have the same script that we say to each other each and every time. And about a month ago, I noticed myself getting frustrated by that. And then I chose. I was again at a crossroads. I can go down the road of frustration. It's always the same. It's never different. I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. It's never going to shift. Or this time is brand new. Yes, we have our script. Yes, I'm going to say, may I take your shoes now? Yes, I'm going to say, may I have your watch now? I'm going to put lotion on your arms now. And he always says, oh, that feels good. And can I be present to the beauty and the preciousness of this time, as if this was the first time or the last time that I felt that when I just said that, or the last time that I ever get to do that. What if this was the last day you had? How would you spend it? Who would you call? How would you be? This moment is what we have. It's all we're guaranteed. So let's fully live in it. Let's be present to the beauty that's available right now. and take an active part in our own well-being by accepting what is happening, loving what is happening, and putting that and onto it. How can I embrace this moment differently so that it can inform my life instead of impede my life? Take a breath. Aruga mama, loving what is now. Aruga mama, loving what is now. There's a song. So I invite our beautiful musicians to cap that thought with a song.
Okay.
Okay. Shine on. When in the course of human kindness it becomes clear the time has come to willingly set aside our blindness and see the world as one. Nobody here has yet forgotten all of the joy we've ever known. Following freely what we feel, we're finding our way home. Shine on, shine on, steady on, steady on. We the people come together, bringing the best of who we are. All we remember, tough and tender, beating with our hearts. The future is looking back with love, encouraging every step we take, guiding us through the darkest times and blessing the sun our way. Shine on, shine on, steady on, steady on, shine on, shine on, steady on, steady on, protecting what is gentle, protecting what is wild, protecting what is living, and every woman, man, and child. A joyful revelation, the hope comes shining through in the silver singing river, in the shining of the moon. Shine on, shine on, steady on, steady on, shine on, shine on, steady on, steady on.
Thank you. That's perfect. So I'm going to invite you to take a little journey with me. We're going to place our focus in some different places. And I invite you, if you choose, to just play with me for a few minutes. So wherever you are, sitting, standing, lying down. I just invite you to take a couple of deep breaths. And bring all your attention to your right pinky. Feel your hand, and yet all your focus is on your right pinky finger. And now bring all of your attention to your left foot. Imagine it there hanging at the end of your leg. Notice if it feels heavier than your other foot with the weight of your attention. And now shift your attention to the top of your head. And imagine there's a hat sitting on your head right now. Any hat your imagination creates. Feel the weight of it on your head. Imagine the color and the shape. And now bring your attention into your heart space. And imagine there at the center of your heart space, a beautiful orb of golden light. This beautiful ball glowing at the center of your heart space. And imagine this beautiful ball of golden light expanding. And soon it fills your entire body, from your toes to the top of your head. Every crack and crevice, every space between every cell, infused with this beautiful golden light. And imagine that this golden light is pressing up against the edges of your skin. And in the next breath, this golden ball of light pops outside of you and surrounds you inside a beautiful golden ball. And imagine that beautiful golden light expanding again, bumping into the person next to you if you happen to have a person next to you, bumping up against the walls of the space you're in if you're inside, all the way from the ceiling to the floor, popping outside of the space that you're in. Imagine the golden light running out the windows and the doors and down the streets. And imagine yourself suddenly being popped up into space, far above the earth, where you can breathe and you're safe and you're floating. And you can see below you the beautiful blue, green, gray, brown marble of earth. And you notice in this tiny spot of Washington, this golden light begins to spread. or this tiny spot wherever you happen to be in this moment. This golden light is spreading across the states, across the ocean, into Canada. From your viewpoint above the earth, you can see this golden light spreading and spreading and encompassing the entire planet in this beautiful golden bubble. And now you zoom down, 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 right back into your body. And once again, bring all your focus and attention to your right pinky. Take a deep breath. Let it go. Another deep breath. Let it go. One more. When you're ready, open your eyes. Find something beautiful. You can choose where to put your attention. Choose wisely. And now another beautiful song.
Okay.
This is what I know. We are all connected. The universe reflected in each shining part. Everywhere I go, I recognize the faces. All of my relations in this one heart. All I need is already looking through these eyes. Nearer than the breathing, closer than hands and feet. We are dreaming together all the gifts of heaven and earth. And so I receive all I can be. This is what I know. We are all connected. The universe reflected in each shining part. Everywhere I go, I recognize the faces. All of my relations in this one heart. All I need is already looking through these eyes. Nearer than my breathing, closer than hands and feet. We are dreaming together all the gifts of heaven and earth. So I receive all I can be. Now I set it free. So it is, and so be it. When I sing it, I can see it. Welcome us in, and so it begins.
much, Dallas and Linda. And thank you, Asha, for that amazing talk. That's something that I've honestly been figuring out myself as of now. You start to understand that things that happen to you, you can't control, but suddenly just knowing that how you perceive those things are up to you, it just opens your world so much. But anyways, I have some last announcements. I'll give the benediction and then Dallas and Linda will sign us off with one last song. I just want to say that you're supporting Unity of Tacoma by letting your friends and family know where you're spending your Sunday mornings. Your tithes and donations allow us to provide you with amazing guest speakers and musicians. If you would like to donate, you can do so on our website, unityoftacoma.org. On our website as well, we are putting updates on a special candle lighting ceremony we're going to be doing, so check on there for any new notifications. And then please join us next week for guest speaker Ruth Rogers and musical guest Christina S. Young. So now for benediction, let's all get comfy and take a deep breath in. And as you let out that breath, be present with those around you, or if you're by yourself, just breathe out knowing that we're still all here together, watching the same Sunday service alone together. And let's give this prayer to the coming week. Let's think about how many things we have control over in life and how many more things we don't have control over. Let's ask Spirit to help us see that no matter what comes our way, we are the ones who get to choose how to react to that. Let's ask Spirit to help us see that we are the sole thing that only we can control. Amen.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it be good with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it be good with me.
Thank you, everyone. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Were we already muted?
No.